Hello and welcome to this Long Island weather alert. We are on alert for thunderstorms. Areas to our west got into some severe thunderstorms today, and you can see they're still blossoming them up over parts of Pennsylvania. There's a warm front that is located over there that is pushing northward. That is the trigger for these severe thunderstorms. Now, as far as today goes, we had a lot of cirrus. Then we had the skies kind of cleared out a little bit, and thunderstorms, pretty much most of the rain kind of stayed to the west, but these thunderstorms were pretty intense. We can put the lightning detection on. You can see all the lightning that occurred. It looked like central Jersey from like Mercer County through Middlesex County into maybe Somerset. Got hit pretty hard by the thunderstorms, and you can see they're going pretty good in Pennsylvania right now. So let's take a look at what we got going on outside right now. We'll look at the radar, actually. We'll first start with that, I guess. Yeah, we'll first start with that, which I didn't put on the screen, but hey. Here we go. So here's the radar, and you can see these hefty thunderstorms here over Pennsylvania. State College, looks like, Harrisburg. And this is all slowly going to move in our direction and hit us overnight. Probably won't be severe when it gets here, but it could still be heavy rain. It could still be some lightning. The bigger risk comes tomorrow with this. Once the warm front passes through, we're going to be in the warm sector and we have highly unstable conditions, much more so than we saw today. Now, I'll just go to the Ventu sky for a minute. We'll just look at the radar rewind and show you what was going on this afternoon here. And you can see these thunderstorms that were popping up over Jersey, Trenton. And these were slow-moving thunderstorms, too. They actually were moving very slowly and resulted in some pretty heavy rainfall, as well as damage in a lot of areas. Let's see if we have a storm reports, local storm reports, probably be out of the Mount Holly office. Let's see if they have any local storm reports. Are here. Here we are. So here we go. All right, they've got Delaware. What about New Jersey? Because I'm pretty sure that, yeah, Somerset, multiple trees down. Thunderstorm wind damage, multiple trees down in Bedminster Township, Somerset, New Jersey. That's Somerset County, Branchburg. Lots of trees down. There was some very strong trees and wires down in Bridgewater. Trees and wires down in Bound Brook. Trees and wires down at the intersection of Scleeks Crossing and Research Way in Plainsboro Township in Middlesex County. So lots and lots of damage with the winds from these storms here. West Windsor, a lot of damage. Trees and wires down, and there are numerous power outages as a result of these storms. If we go to poweroutage.us, let's see what we got here. Pennsylvania has 14,000. New Jersey's down to only 1,000, but they definitely got hammered pretty bad by these storms that hit earlier. And there's probably more heat over there too. So right now, temperatures are around the mid-70s. We've got 75 at Islip, and in the South Shore it wasn't that bad, but in the middle of the island it was pretty hot. I'll show you some pictures of the temperatures here. It was 88 in Mineola at around 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Then in Belmore, about an hour later, or less than an hour later, 80 degrees. So some 8 degrees cooler in Belmore. So if you're on the South Shore, much better, much better. And tonight, Babylon was 76 degrees. And then I'll share these temperature readings, and not all the time, but when there's differences. 77 in Deer Park. So 77 in Deer Park. Let's get that back on the screen. 77 in Deer Park. It still wasn't all that bad, even in Deer Park. But once I got back to Mineola, Mineola is a hot town to begin with. 78 degrees. Definitely felt a lot warmer, more stifling. And, of course, my alley, 81, almost 82 degrees in the alley.
Oh, I hate this place!
So, yeah, I'm going to keep playing that because I really do. That sums up exactly how I feel about this place that I live. But anyway, we'll take a look at our highs. So if you're on the South Shore, it wasn't too bad. We'll go look at the highs today. Highs, we're still managed to get up to, let's see, 88. So upper 80s. But here in Central Nassau, we had low 90s. Looks like it did hit 90 at Islip again, though. And it hit 90 at Shirley as well. West Hampton got to 84. But if you were on the South Shore at the beaches, you were pretty much had 80s. And then as you made your way west into the city, 91 at LaGuardia, 90 at JFK, 89 in Central Park. Central Park always has a tendency to be cool because there's a lot of vegetation around there. And I know it's an old site. I'm going to talk a little bit about it. I mentioned a little bit. A lot of people like to use that site. But I because there's so much vegetation that's growing around that site, it's making it cooler than average. And so I pay more attention now to the airports because it's not the typical temperature unless you're in the woods. Maybe you're in the woods, you'll have a cooler temperature, but generally speaking, a lot of us will be hotter than that. Newark looks like they got up to 93, or maybe 94 actually. That's where they're on top of Newark. And Jersey, much hotter. They had the mid 90s there, 95. In Miller Air Park, that's actually the hottest reading. So that kind of heat is what helped get those thunderstorms going. Lows, obviously, a very mild night. Actually, it was in the upper 60s. Got down to 68. The alley only got down to 77. So of course. I also want to look at rainfall amounts as well. For today, we'll just do 12 hours because some of these areas where the thunderstorms hit, they got a lot of rain. There's a 3.42-inch reading there at Coyle Field. So some of these areas, this part of Ocean County, they got a lot of rain. Some of the radar estimates actually have it more than that even. So they wound up getting even more than rain. Let's see if it'll show up the numbers again. This site wants to just give me a hard time here. But you can see that, well, you know what? We'll just go to WonderMap because I don't have the patience for this site. I don't know what it's doing. I don't know why it doesn't want to load all the numbers. But here's the 1.42 further south. So you can see where some of these cells sat over for a while. There was a lot of rain. And I'll go to the WonderMap as well. We'll just go to that already because... So, look at precipitation. And we'll go into these areas. We may have more information from some spotters over here. No, not really. But there were radar estimates of 5 inches in some of these areas in the heart of the Pine Barrens here. Around Wharton State Forest, some of these areas here got pounded with a lot of rain. Let's see what we got up here. 0.96. So, yeah, some of these areas got a lot of rain. So, most areas didn't, but it's just some of these isolated areas. I'm kind of also curious about some of these observations. Let's see if we can get an official... I'm trying to see if we can get any wind gust readings from some of these airports that might have... I don't know where Somerset Airport is. Should be somewhere, Somerset County. Let's see, we'll find it somewhere. I wish it would just show the area. They had a gust of 37 at Somerset Airport. Okay, that's not too crazy. But I think some areas saw winds higher than that. Let's see if we can get... It's annoying that they don't have it's very bad that they don't put the storm reports up anymore. But you know who you can thank for that. Well, whatever the case is, that's the information I can provide for you right now. I want to focus more on the severe weather that we got to worry about for tomorrow, all right? So I'll just go back over to here. We'll go over to our climatological report for Islip today. High of 89. I guess it's not showing 90 where it's weird because the other one shows 90. High of 89. That's still 8 degrees above normal, so well above normal today. Just a trace of precipitation. And again, you can see if we... back here, here's the radar. We already have some severe... Here's a severe thunderstorm warning now getting posted for... this is what we're going to have to watch. It looks like these storms are coming in a little quicker. We thought they would come a little more after midnight, but it looks like they're coming in a little quicker than expected here. We'll have to see how severe these are by the time they get east. They probably will weaken, but we'll have to see what happens. Looking at the lightning, let's see how much lightning they're producing. Oh, this one's really producing a lot of lightning here. And so we'll have to watch what happens here, but if you're in Jersey, you're going to get into that first. So let's go to the Storm Prediction Center here and look at that marginal risk is off to our west for tonight. But as we go into tomorrow, day 2, look at what happens. Now we have a slight risk, level 2 risk, for much of New Jersey and parts of Pennsylvania and maybe just a teeny slice of New York. And then for our area, for Long Island and New York and the New England area, we have a marginal risk for severe weather. And that's because we have this cold front, slow-moving cold front, but we're going to be in a very highly unstable air mass. So if we look at the weather map here, you'll see warm fronts coming through, and then as we go to tomorrow, we have the cold front approaching, and that is going to bring us a risk for the severe weather. So let's now look at the models and go over to the European here. And first show the European. I'm going to go to the eastern U.S. just to show you the larger scale view of what's happening. So we have the warm front coming through. That's just going to increase the humidity. And then you can see that all that shower and thunderstorm activity developing, probably starting later in the afternoon tomorrow and going through the evening. And then it's going to actually this front is going to slow down. And we even have a little wet weather Wednesday morning before it finally slowly pushes off. But I'm mainly focused on tomorrow in this video because that is the big concern. So let's look at some of the short-range models here. We will go to the HRRR, and first we'll start off with the radar simulation here on the HRRR. And you can see there's that batch. So we could actually see a thunderstorm in an hour or two here. It does seem to hold them together. Maybe not quite as severe, but it could be a decent shot of downpour here. Downpours around. We should actually use because we haven't really had much rain in the past week. And that heat really dries things out. So as we go into tomorrow, you can see all the activity starts popping up toward the evening here. And you have it looks like the HRRR wants to have a line developing right around 7 or 8 o'clock. This could be a pretty hefty line coming through. And you can see how it kind of slows down, and we have the showers kind of lingering in the first part of Wednesday morning. All right, showing you the dew points in the wind flow here. So you'll see, yeah, it's already kind of humid out there already. Should have showed the dew points already because it really is kind of humid. I think the dew points are already in the 70s. Of course, I should have showed you that. Yeah, dew point is 73 at Islip, so it's already humid. I think the warm front's kind of already through already, or in the process of coming through. But the humidity gets a little higher tomorrow, so we see dew points rise up into the mid-70s, like 75, 76, downright tropical conditions. You can see the southerly, be a pretty decent south-southwesterly breeze, which will keep things from getting too hot on Long Island, but it's going to feel pretty uncomfortable. And then you see what happens here as we get into Wednesday. That drier air slowly comes in, but you see this front is really taking its sweet time, but we still don't see any dew point relief even on Wednesday. Not really much. This front is really another weak, slow front, unfortunately. So our temperatures, as we get overnight, obviously not going to drop much. And tomorrow, inland, it's going to be hot. I think, again, you'll see 90. Here, I think we'll see mainly mid to upper 80s. And then look at what happens when that line comes through. It's going to knock those temperatures down fast. So let's go look at the Cape, because I'm sure that's through the roof. Oh, and it is. So here you go. Very high Cape levels tomorrow, even in the afternoon. So you're going to see a lot of cumulus conjustus, cumulonimbus developing and towering over the skies tomorrow, especially as you get to later in the afternoon to the evening. It's going to be very active. I'm going to be busy watching all these storms, trying to get pictures of them. Oh, look. Listen to that. Well, somebody set off the smoke alarm again. Isn't that nice? Yeah, let's see if this can hear this. Maybe not, but yep, that's what I get to deal with in my building almost every night. But anyway, we're in the middle of a weather video, but this is what happened. I finally stopped. They cook and they just don't put the, I live with. I'm not even going to say at this point. But you can see the Cape is really, really high tomorrow. So that's why we have a really big concern. It actually decreases toward the later part of the day when the line moves through. But I still think there's going to be a real strong potential for, I wouldn't be surprised I think we're going to have a severe thunderstorm watch for the whole area tomorrow. I think that's going to be necessary. At this point, looking at these Cape values, very high humidity up front, a lot of instability in the air. You can look at a sounding from the afternoon here, and you'll see that kind of instability that I'm talking about here. So it's it's really a very unstable situation. Here's the NAM, by the way. We'll look at the NAM here, and again, very high Cape values. Best, obviously, over Jersey, where it's hotter, but still very high. Let's see what the NAM is doing here. We have the 0Z NAM now in, so we're a little bit later, so we have that 0Z NAM. Here's that area, again, that we're going to be dealing with overnight. That probably won't be severe in nature, but it's what happens tomorrow. And this is the NAM showing, again, activity already starting to pop off the south shore tomorrow. NAM's got a little bit of a different placement of the front, actually. I'm not sure if I'm buying that. I think the HRRR might be a little more accurate with that. But, again, it starts once you get toward later in the afternoon. That's when that activity is going to pop, and then we'll have to deal with some showers overnight, thunderstorms, and then as we get into Wednesday, slowly we start seeing slow improvement. There could still be a pop-up, perhaps, in the afternoon or evening because of that residual moisture that we're going to be dealing with on Wednesday. So it's go look at the RGM next. We'll go ahead and look at the RGM just for skies, just to give you an idea. This kind of shows the front here. So, again, tomorrow we'll have sunshine, but there'll be cirrus and towering cumulonimbus mixed in more as we get toward the afternoon, and then the clouds kind of with us overnight. And then to Wednesday, we're going to probably pretty much be stuck in the clouds all day with that stalled front probably. Again, it's going to take until Thursday to really get that front offshore. So it's going to be hanging around, unfortunately, and keeping things. Wednesday won't be such a great day like I originally thought it was going to clear out quick, but, that doesn't happen. So HDRPS is the next one. This is the 18Z run. All right, so you can see HDRPS showing thunderstorms popping in the afternoon over Jersey. And then as we get toward the evening hours, you start seeing that line again developing that's going to slam us probably around 7, 8 o'clock. And that looks like I really think that's going to be the time point between probably 7 or 8 o'clock that we're going to see severe thunderstorms approaching the area. And these, again, could have frequent lightning. And then look, the front's hanging up. Here's Wednesday and showing more severe weather hanging out over Jersey just off to the south. So this is something we're going to have to watch. So the next 24 to 48 hours are going to be very active when it comes to the weather. Go to the Vent2 Sky, and we'll go ahead and look at Cape on this as well. Go to the thunderstorms, and we go here, and let's go here to tomorrow. And here we are, 11. The Cape's already there, 2. Plenty of Cape. 5 o'clock. You can see where there's a sea breeze that kind of cuts it off a little. There will be a strong sea breeze tomorrow, but I don't think it's enough to stop it. I honestly don't think it's enough to stop it. So, and I want to point out the water temperatures, too, for a moment. I got to go back to the weather and hazards map here for a moment because I want to point out the water temps. They're warm. All right, so let's go to some of these buoys here. Water temperature is, let's see if it lists the water temperature. That one does not list the water temperature. Why doesn't? Oh, there it is, 68 degrees. No, that's the minimum temperature. Where's the water temperature? No water temperature. Let's see if we can find it on here. Yeah, there's no water temperature reading. What the F? All right. Let's look at this one. No, that's not a... All right, we'll look at this one here. Let's see if this one's got a water temperature. What, are they not putting the water temperatures up now? Is that the issue? I kind of need this because this helps calculate the instability. Here's the water temperature, 71 degrees. So, yeah, we're already seeing water temperatures, and they are above normal. If I just go over here, which is a site we haven't visited in a while, earthnullschool.net, we have above normal water temperatures. SST anomalies. Yeah, look at that. Well above normal. Wow, look at that. That's 5.4 degrees Fahrenheit above normal. Yeah, 5.4 degrees Fahrenheit above normal. Look at that. That's insane right there. That's insane. So, yeah, that's a big anomaly right there that we have. So, plenty of warm water, and that, of course, is going to lead to tropical troubles as well. We already have a risk zone around Florida. Not going to mention it right now because we got our own issues to deal with these thunderstorms. So, we'll just take one more look at the radar here, and you'll see these storms here approaching. And again, we're going to see some. They're probably weakened by the time they get here, but there's going to be some heavy rain in a couple of hours, I think, and maybe some thunder and lightning too. So that is going to wrap things up and just show you the skies here. You can see this was the storm over Jersey. Pretty looking cell. Altocumulus. Here's that. What was left of it. It kind of became a rainy mess. off to the west, and the sun's kind of looking through it. But there you go. So that's what it looked like outside today. Was at Babylon, South Shore, the place to be, as it always is. So, unfortunately, that is just the way it is, as Bruce Hornsby would say. Unless you want to deal with people asking you for money, that happened again in Mineola. It happens every day. People are asking me for money on Mineola Boulevard. It's just you gotta run through the gauntlet of beggars. But anyway, have a great night, and I'll try to keep you informed through posts and maybe through some short videos about what's going to be happening tomorrow if I can. Obviously, I'm still dealing with the junk phone that I need to get rid of and replace, but it's going to be an active day tomorrow. I can promise you that. I think it's going to be very interesting. And I do fully expect there will be a severe thunderstorm watch issued for a good portion of our area. Anyway, have a good night.